All right, Panther Lair, let's talk about the performances of Bub Carrington and Jalen Lowe in the context of the Pittsburgh Panthers' victory over the Florida State Seminoles this past Tuesday night. Now, this analysis stems from a text chat with the other staff writers here in Panther Lair, where we were talking about the differences between Jalen Lowe and Bub Carrington. What has been the catalyst for Pitt's success since Lowe has entered the starting lineup, how they're the same, how they're different, and so forth. So one of the things I dropped in there was that I thought Jalen does a really good job of quick processing and processing what the defense gives him. He's really good at kind of surveying the floor, and that's how he gets guys involved for the most part. And I thought Bub really can manipulate the defense with his floor position, with his ball fakes, with his dribbling action. And while this isn't mutually exclusive to either one of them, as they both are able to do, process quickly and also manipulate defenses, I think that, what I'm emphasizing is it's like a bigger part of their footprint in terms of how they get guys involved. And I'm going to flesh that out now so you guys can see a couple examples. So there's going to be two similar sequences. One's going to be Jalen, one's going to be Bub. And we're going to look at kind of first how they make like interior passes, and then also how they get guys involved for three-pointers. So this first one's going to be, almost towards the, 3/4 mark into the first half. So just about 5 minutes left. This is going to be the alley-oop to Zach Austin. Lowe never has a problem beating his man off the dribble, but you're going to see that he's going to notice Zach Austin's defender is going to stay in the paint and be ready to block shots. Like Florida State, really good at blocking shots. This is a big part of their footprint, so this is what they want to do. But Lowe processes that so quickly by launching this lob alley-oop just inside the free throw line that Austin's defender doesn't have really any time to react to this. He just ends up, he gears up, and then by the time he's like, okay, I'm ready to do something, the ball is almost pretty much in the air for Austin to get the alley-oop. Now see Bub, similar situation. He's going to drive in the paint, more or less on the right side of the paint initially. And when he gets in and turns back, same situation. Federico's even kind of gearing up, I think, and just trying to get his legs underneath for a potential alley-oop. Now, Bub could launch right in here, be very similar, but what he does is he drives into the paint a little bit more, pretty much the same position, but rather than launch it, he uses that ball fake. Influence, manipulates the defense. Federico's man leaves his feet, and he's available for this nice little drop pass, and Federico gets a dunk. So that's kind of the difference between quick processing of what's going on versus manipulating the defense. Again, both were effective, as you can see. Neither one's necessarily better or worse. There's situations where you want to use one versus the other. But again, I think the biggest part of it is Lowe consistently is processing things quickly, and I think that's how he gets guys involved. And Bub is consistently manipulating the defense, and that's how he gets guys involved. So let's take a look at some three-pointers here. So this is going to be midway through the second half. Probably remember that Florida State went to like a zone during this stretch. It was like a 1-3-1. They threw like some 2-3 looks in here as well. So this is going to start with an empty side pick and roll with Federico and Jalen. And Jalen never really deterred from a help defender, able to get into the lane here with his drive. And even though this is a zone, he understands that it's going to shift this way naturally because, that's where the ball's at. And so he knows that on the other side of the court, on this weak side, he's going to have a wide open Blake Hinson, who at that point was extremely hot. I think that was his 5th three-pointer. So let's take a look at how Bub does something similar. Again, it's going to be that zone look. This time it's going to be a high ball screen. It's not going to be an empty side ball screen. But what Bub is really good at is dribbling and attacking and forcing help to commit. So this is kind of manipulating this weak side slot defender who, even though this is a zone, it's he's still the first line of defense against middle penetration right there. So he influences this way. I think he's kind of manipulating with his eyes. His vision is here. This defender of Lowe's is going to slide over, although, they're in the zone. So this is just the man in this top left portion of the zone. And then he's just going to make this nice kick out pass to Lowe for a wide open 3. So again, both very effective. Saw 2 dunks, 2 3-pointers. It's just kind of how Jalen and Bub go about doing things. And I think that's very complimentary. Again, they can do the other thing as well. It's just a matter of their preference and kind of their style of play and what suits them better. And this is just a situation where when you can have both of these things and they can kind of dip into the other, that it's a really beneficial thing for Pitt. I think this is kind of why they've continued to be successful since Jalen has started, because both guys can break down defenses in different ways, create shot opportunities for themselves, shot opportunities for others, shot opportunities for each other. I think that's actually something I might dive into, is how well these guys are doing off of passes from each other. But just something I thought was interesting just because it came up in the Panther Lair chat. I thought it would be pretty cool to flesh out with you guys, and I think this game was a pretty good example of that.